that's a tremendous looking trophy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to
Hey, everybody, welcome to Platinum
Ciaran
Explosion.
with your host, Ciaran Marchant.
Oh. Sorry.
Did you say your name was Ciaran Marchant?
Did you said your name was
sorry.
Ciaran Marchant.
Sorry. I listened to one episode where you said
I
it.
got really used to being the host.
Yeah, I got used to hearing you as the host after one episode also that I forgot my name.
You forgot your name. I was prepared to intro after the silence that we had together. What do we do here? This is a bit awkward. This is
a bit awkward. I listened to last week's episode. Description awkward.
How is it awkward?
A whole bunch of Nick judging you, felt like.
It wasn't. Nick and me were best of friends.
Felt like he was judging you all episode.
Nick and we had a great episode together. We were happy just to give you the time off that you needed to recharge your batteries for the show.
Yeah. By being at work. Thanks for that. Thanks for allowing me to go get paid.
Well.
Thanks,
whatever.
pimp.
You're welcome. As long as you sent my cut my way, it's fine.
That's okay. All right. The number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanos, now hosted by Dylan Blight. Used to be hosted by Ciaran Marchant. He's the one who was speaking.
Me.
Also joining us this week, Ashley Hobley.
Yeah, I'm here as well. I've hosted as well, so
You have hosted. That is true. You've been chucked the keys of the
guest
car.
hosted. Guests.
Yeah.
Guest Ciaran.
Those times where your mum's a bit drunk, so she's like, "Can you drive home?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure, drive home." That's pretty much what happened last week, guys.
Yeah, that is a pretty accurate description.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's an accurate description at all, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I've got a few games I want to talk about this week, so let's jump into them. Two big games. I played two big games last week.
You don't play games. Wait, he has 1 week off, and he's like, "Let's be serious about podcasting, guys."
Oh, I'm excited. I've enjoyed both the games. I'd like to talk about them.
Okay, sure. Go for it, Dylan.
Thanks, Ciaran, for allowing me to host my own show.
Well, it's about time, about bloody time.
Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Have you checked?
All right, so the first one I talk about, Ni No Kuni.
Yeah.
Biggest game of last week. I'm pretty sure Ash played it for 24 hours straight. Whenever I looked at my PlayStation Friends profile, it was just Ashley Hobley sitting there playing Ni No Kuni.
Well, I think it was probably just in rest mode.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
How many hours have you put into that game?
It's got 18 hours listed on it.
18?
18?
Yeah.
So you missed like 6 out of an entire day or something. Like,
No, well, I got it Friday, so
It was good effort.
yeah. And we'll get to, when we talk about the game, I'll probably mention why it might be a bit higher.
we're talking about the game now, aren't we?
No,
We're not talking about the game. All right, before I talk about Ni No Kuni 2, I would like to cover... did you play the first one?
Yes, I did.
Like full on finished it, everything?
No, I didn't finish it. I got to like
neither
the
did I.
last section.
No, I remember you
Neither
didn't
did I.
finish this.
How far did you get? And what was the reason you stopped?
Like pretty much to the last...
To the witch?
No, like just before the witch, like that last battle kingdom or whatever, I can't remember, was...
Why'd you stop?
I have no idea. Something else came along, I think.
Oh, really? So my the Ni No Kuni story that fucked me, this is going to tie everything back to a topic that comes up sometimes in this podcast and life, is that it came out in a period of my life where I wasn't playing many video games because all I was doing was playing League of Legends. So it was among a handful of games that my addiction to League of Legends ruined. Because I got the game, I remember being so excited for it. Studio Ghibli involved, like huge fan. This looks awesome, like the art style. Yeah, so excited. Pre-ordered, picked it up day one, played it for like a couple hours, got a message, up for a couple games of League. Yeah, all right. Next day I played it for like 30 minutes, up for a couple games of League. Yeah, all right. Week passed, hadn't touched it. Played a hell of a lot of League, and then just dropped off and never got played. And that is the story of a lot of games that came out during my addiction to League time. Just got ruined. Just got ruined. I still own my copy, and I had full intentions to try and go back and play it, but it never happened. League of Right Games is to blame. How dare they? Just ruined it.
Bloody hell. Bloody Riot.
So, Ciaran, did you ever play the first one?
I did.
How far did you get?
The first time you go back to the real world.
You didn't get very fucking far at all.
No.
40 minutes. You got like 40 minutes in.
40 minutes. I didn't grind enough. I got destroyed by the boss maybe 4 or 5 times.
You
Why'd
saw
you
that
stop
first.
playing?
You played.
League
Saw
of
that
Legends?
first Studio Ghibli cutscene. You're like,
I was
Yeah.
playing. I was.
Yeah.
I was playing Dota 2.
Is that the reason you stopped playing?
Probably because that's.
Similar story.
Also, I only because the PlayStation 3 wasn't mine; it was my dad's, so I didn't really have much time with it.
It came out on DS in Japan.
Did it really?
Yeah, should have imported it.
That's interesting. Okay, I
that
did
is interesting.
the DS.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the same exact version of the game, but it was a thing. It was the thing. You didn't pick up Ni No Kuni 2? No
Not
interest?
yet. I'm probably
yet.
tomorrow. Probably
Oh, really?
Tomorrow.
Because of the hype? Because of people loving it? Or
It's it's between that. Yeah, I've wanted a JRPG to get into because Persona 5 was what it was, and
I didn't
you
even finish
couldn't
that.
stream that. And you couldn't
Fools.
stream that at all. I was
Yeah.
like,
well, you
I
can stream
can't
this.
play that. I can
stream
stream
this, yeah.
parts of this when I get deeper into it. Like I'll, come back to it once the hype started a bit down to it and play
Yeah.
some. But, yeah, that's the sad thing about my gaming. Not sad, but it's just the way my gaming life is. It's very tied to streaming now. I have to be able to stream it if I want to play it.
Yeah. Feels. Well, that's no different than there's several games I haven't started yet. Like, I still haven't played the second Tomb Raider.
Neither.
Rise of Tomb Raider. And I've had that on the list of, I want to stream it.
Yeah, well, stop editing some stupid Dungeons.
Well,
and
no, I
Dragons
also need to
podcast.
upgrade my I also need to upgrade my Elgato to be able to stream it. But it's on the list
that's true.
of games that
Do you want me to? I'll buy a new Elgato and I'll just send you mine. There you go.
that feels highly unnecessary, like several $100 unnecessary.
Yeah.
I'll get there one day.
It's an
Alright.
investment in your future
Is it? In
and
whose
Kieran's
future?
Kieran's free time.
We just turned the Twitch money into an Elgato for you. There you go. Present.
Could be.
Sorry, Nick and Tom. We've decided.
Yeah, it's done.
Peace. All right, let's talk about Ni No Kuni 2. So, let's start with the story, Ash. I feel like
Yeah.
the story in this one is a lot weaker than the first game. I'm about 10 hours in, I think.
Yeah.
My play file says, but I think you could take an hour off for me leaving it paused also. So, and so far I would say I'm having fun. The characters are fine, but I'm not deeply invested emotionally or interested in the characters as I was in the first game. What do you reckon?
Yeah, pretty similar. Although I was talking to Nick about it the other day, and he said it. Slight spoilers, but Evan, the main character's mum, also dies, just like the character in the first game. But then this time, his surrogate mum dies as well.
Ooh. Yeah, that's right. It happens in the first half hour.
Yeah, it's not like massive.
That's like, you can't spoil the first Ni No Kuni's like first half an hour either.
Yeah,
Stuff that. Fuck you if you think that's a spoiler.
yeah,
But I think the other main problem I have and the disconnect from the characters and the story is that the voice acting is not
yeah.
everywhere. It
it's
really
so
takes
frustrating.
away so much of the game. It really ruins so much of the game. I feel like there's one
The
of the
first one was
biggest
more
issues.
voice acted than this, wasn't it?
I feel like it was.
Yeah,
And even if it wasn't, it's also the year 2018. And
Yeah.
I've seen like Kotaku or somewhere like they had an article up there like, all of Mass Effect, Andromeda, like The Witcher, all these games, it's all voice acted. Like everyone you talk to has voice acting. We're talking about a JRPG game where in important cutscenes, there's no voice acting and you're just reading text bubbles with slight music in the background, just hearing like the ... effect as you're clicking through text. Like,
Do you think that's because the English version would be the secondary version that they worked on for this game? Because this game would be initially made in Japanese.
it doesn't
so-
look like they did any Japanese voice acting either.
No.
Okay.
I don't.
No.
Not from like the animation or anything. It doesn't give the impression that they
It's
did.
also really weird because they'll have a couple lines recorded of random pieces of dialogue. Like
Yeah.
the characters will just randomly rip out a sentence they've recorded and then just go back to being text bubbles. It's like,
Yeah.
Like, wait,
Why?
in the same scene? Like,
yeah, in the same scene. It'll just be like text bubble, text bubble, text bubble. Oh yeah, I went down to the pub on the Sunday and had a great drink. Text bubble, text bubble, text bubble. You know,
That was a
it's-
surprising turn in the game.
That was a surprising turn that he went to a pub for a drink, but
It is.
What was with speaking of text bubbles? What was with that soldier, Ashley, that you posted a picture of on Twitter? Like that shit was deep.
Spoilers.
Game's hardcore.
Yeah.
Game's hardcore. But I think that is honestly my biggest issue with the game so far is the lack of voice acting, which I just think is so easy. By easy, I just mean it's a time thing and a money thing. They would have had invest. They just simply have to put money into hiring people to come in and record the lines. It's just something that should have been done. And if they couldn't get it all done, I would honestly be happy if they delayed this another month to have all the voice acting, or 2 months, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like it makes that big of a difference to the enjoyment factor of the story.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
It ruins the immersion of games where
It
you're
does.
having to, when you're having to, like, I don't mind so much if the whole game is, not voice acted in a way, but there's cool music behind it, sure. But if you're doing a half-assed job where in the same scene there's some recorded sections and some not, that's, nah.
It's like they paid the voice actors to come in for a strict period of time, and we're just like, record this sentence, rip, next page, record this sentence, rip, this is actually a real important scene, better record all the dialogue for this, rip, and then just one sentence here, one sentence here. It's really odd. It is really odd.
It's frustrating.
It's a little bit frustrating. All right, let's talk about, I'd say, art style wise, if you enjoyed the first game, you'll enjoy this game, because although Studio Ghibli isn't involved, they've still kept to the same art style. It still looks like a Studio Ghibli product,
Yeah.
I guess, is the easy way to put it. Although, I would say it has lost a little bit of the charm in the cutscenes and stuff like that. Like, it does feel like it's missing that little bit of something.
The Studio Ghibli animation was only like 5-10% of maybe the game. In Ni No
That's
Kuni.
true. But I feel like...
I don't feel like it takes away that much.
Yeah, I don't
There's
know.
a little bit more consistency.
Yes. Yeah, consistency.
Although, was the outside, like the open world animation style the same? I feel like it looks different. It looks very World of Final Fantasy.
World of Final Fantasy, that's exactly what it reminded me of. That's exactly
that's how it was in the first game.
No, it was similar.
Yeah,
like you were a small person on the screen and all that sort of stuff. But it's the way the characters are designed, like their bodies are like a lot bigger and their feet are smaller, or that kind of thing that makes it look more like World of Final Fantasy than
fair enough.
other like top-down type effects and stuff.
There was something, when I looked at the screenshots that people are posting, there was something almost a little off about the character designs for me, that I didn't find them as charming as when I saw them.
In that mode, or like full like 3D mode?
Full like 3D mode, like the pictures that Ashley posted. There were a couple of I don't know what the creatures are called, those little, like the little whatever. They looked a bit, I don't know.
They're meant to look off. They look like someone drew a picture in like 10 seconds.
The
and that's done on
Higgledies.
purpose. They're great. I love them.
But okay, so are they not the same as what
No.
they were in the first game?
No. There's none of that.
Right, okay, cool.
They've taken that out of the
There's none of the Pokemons.
No.
There's none of the Pokemon?
Which is
Yeah.
kind of
So let's
disappointing.
go over the combat changes and stuff like that then. So in the first game, you basically caught Pokemon type monsters, and then you could use them in battle, and you tell them what to do, and that was the type of thing. In this one, it's more like, say, Final Fantasy 15 type thing, I guess, or not. It's more
Well, you had the
button
option
masher.
to do that in the first game, but you also
Yeah, I
had the option
suppose.
to.
But it's like, this is the main combat now. It's you've got squares your light attacks, triangles your heavy attack. You hold R2 and you have like triangle, circle, square, X as your special moves. Your magic abilities. So I suppose it's more like Kingdom Hearts without having to press up and down to choose between attack, magic, and stuff and stuff like that. It's real time action based.
Yeah, that's probably
combat
a good comparison.
Yeah. There's a dodge button. There's a block button. I'm really not using the block button because I don't feel like the game's
No,
hard
I've
at
never
all.
used the block. I don't think you just
No.
because the same button as the evade, so you just end up
you
rolling
just
away.
evade. You just roll out of the way of people.
Wait, is the same button as evade?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you hold it down to block, or you press it once to dodge in the
Right.
direction. So yeah, when you're in 3D environments, when you're in 3D characters whatever you want to call that, you'll just see the monsters up ahead of you, and when you run up close enough to them, you'll just enter battle mode. You'll start fighting them. When you're in the world map type thing, you'll be able to see the enemies on the screen. And if they're higher level than you or medium level to you, they will, of course, run towards you when you're close enough, and then you'll enter the battle screen or stuff like that.
So it's like Final Fantasy 12 then, because Final Fantasy 12 was that game where like they were like, you can see the monsters in the real world now. And
it's like a combination between several things. I like the combat. The combat's enjoyable.
Yeah. I haven't figured out, like, I don't think it's probably super in depth, but I haven't figured out like the nuances, like they don't explain like the elements and that sort of thing, or like
I don't think you need to worry about it. I don't think the game's difficult enough to worry about it. No.
Apparently, there's some tactic tweaker in the menu that you can.
I've looked at it.
Yeah.
I didn't. I put all my points into the stuff that said get more XP, gold, and increased chances of weapons from enemy drops. I did not worry about the sliders between your attacks will do more to water enemies than electricity enemies. I'm like, I've not got stuck on a boss battle to where I'm like, oh fuck, I really need advantage here, because it's not a very hard game.
Not yet.
Which character do you play as? Because you can switch between. You just play as Evan? Yes, I do. Because it makes sense. It's like he's the main character. Well, I don't want to play as any of the characters. So the way to win combat in this game is you have his big sweeping triangle move.
Yeah.
And every time you enter combat, you just run forward a little bit. You hold R2, you press triangle, you do your big sweeping attack. You like half damage everyone around you, and then you just go play cleanup and rinse and repeat every battle. Basically.
And they've done this thing with the weapons where you sort of charge them up. You hold 3 weapons at once.
It's very weird.
Very weird.
I don't fully understand it. It's like, as a comparison, Final Fantasy 15 had a multi-weapon system where you would switch between a like javelin weapon, a light sword, and a heavy sword, but it was based on what enemy you was fighting, and you would soon tell if the weapon you was using was bad. You know, so there's like some big heavy bruiser enemy, and you're trying to use your light sword. You wouldn't be doing much damage. You switch to your heavy weapon, you'd start doing heaps of damage. And that combat system made perfect sense to me. It was all fine. It was no different than in like Final Fantasy X, Auron with his huge big sword would do heaps of damage to those types of enemies, and Tidus would do sweet fuck all with his little sword. In this game, you can equip a whole bunch of different weapons. They charge up. You can set it between automatic manual switching mode or like semi-automatic switching mode. I left it on semi-automatic switching mode. And you basically always want to be using a weapon that's 100% charged. But the only time you would want it on manual is if you had like a fire-based weapon, a water-based weapon, an electricity-based weapon equipped, and you purposely wanted to be switching back to different weapons because they were good against enemies, which hasn't happened once. Like, it doesn't matter what weapon I'm using.
Just whatever's got the most strength is what you want.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I don't recall starting the game and seeing a difficulty option. I'm pretty sure it's just one difficulty. Yeah. But I'd say so far... I presume
it gets harder, though. I presume it's going to get harder.
Maybe. We'll find it. Because so far, I would say you don't need to learn or understand any of these systems at all. Like, leave the sword switching thing on automatic. Don't worry about what... Just let the game switch between the most charged up one. And don't worry about the elemental differences between enemies, because it really doesn't matter. Hit enemies good, dodge out of the way, use spells when you need to, and you'll be fine. You don't need to get too in depth so far. it's
even the higgledy things, they don't really explain what any of those do.
They're OP is what they are. How many have you got?
I think I've collected a whole bunch.
Yeah, I've got like 4 where I am or something like that. So the higglebees, which are the things Ciaran was mentioning before, are these like little creatures that you can find, and they look like they're Willy Wonka weird type drawing. I don't know, like no. I described them. I described them as something from Spy Kids that was drawn and came to life.
Okay, like I get that.
Some weird drawing type thing, because they look like messed up kids drawing. Because even their eyes look like a pencil just like swirled around a bunch of times, like kind of crappy. And in battle, they will run around and randomly heal you. And other than that, they'll stand in a circle, and then they'll have like a globe beneath them, and you can run up, you can hold in X, and they will activate a special cannonball and attack the enemies, or like start healing you. But once you get a couple of them, these things are happening all over the place, and you're just running up, you activate, this thing's healing you, this thing's doing damage. Your AI is actually good. They actually will just kill people, and you can kind of just sit back. It's like, oh, I need heals. Should I use a potion? No, I'll just run around to my higglies. One of them will heal me, and I'll stand back and let my AI take care of the combat here. It's fine. This sounds like a whole bunch of complaints, and it's not really complaints because I'm enjoying my time with the game, and I'm quite happy to have a colorful anime Studio Ghibli looking game that's quite just chill, sit back, relax. It's not giving me a hard time, which is fine because JRPGs of old always brought me much pain and discomfort when I was like, oh God, I'm going to have to sit here and grind for 5 hours to beat this boss, which I don't think this game's going to have. Like, I don't see that happening at all.
So where are you up to in the game?
I've just gone back to my castle for the second time after like getting wood.
Okay, so you haven't actually started building the kingdom
No, it's
yet.
built. That's built. Well,
No,
it's
but
not,
you do
it's-
have the option to start building?
Yeah, I've started building stuff.
Okay, cool. So that's
So that's
where
it.
I've just left the game open because now it's like a free-to-play game.
Don't say it's like real play. Don't say it's real-time building. Oh,
No, there's like elements of it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So you get a certain amount of gold an hour.
This is automatically turned me off playing this game.
So you just leave it running in the background while you're
don't-
like having lunch or
You can from what I've read, you can ignore it up to a point. By the end of the game, you need a level 4 weapon shop, and that's the only thing. The rest of it is if you want to put
fun.
time and effort into it, or for trophies, I suppose.
Yeah,
so of course
trophies.
I am. Of course I am. But other than that, you just need to put time. You just need to check back every now and then and make sure you send someone to go work on upgrading your weapon shop. I'm fine with it. It's like you put people on shops. You can upgrade your spells. Apparently, you need to upgrade your spell shop. I was reading today several times to be able to, you know those blue chests you see out and about that you
Yes.
can't unlock? Yeah, the only way to unlock those is by upgrading your spell shop
Son of a
enough to
bitch.
unlock a special spell that lets you unlock those blue chests.
Alohomora. No, wait.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep,
That is
no, that's the
Good
one.
done. You got it.
Yep, good.
You got
That's
it.
the...
So that is another part of the game. The game is full of a lot of different mechanics. You've got the normal combat, which we just discussed. You've then got this weird like
War combat
building
thing.
castle type. You upgrade your kingdom, whatever you want to call that system. You've then got a RTS type thing, also like a skirmish thing where you.
I don't know how to describe it.
I don't know. So you basically have like two little armies
up
beside
to 4.
you.
You get
Up to 4, Willie. Okay, because I've only. Oh, yeah, you're right. In the menu, there's 4. I've only got 2 so far, and it's like one bunch of my circle dudes are swordsmen, another bunch are arrow dudes, and you press L1 or R1 to like swing them around your body as you lead them into battle, and it's like a RTS real time battle
What
thing.
is this? That
It's pretty
freaking
shit.
metal game with is there like a big like metal car with like an awesome soundtrack and Jack
No.
Black riding around?
Everyone
the place?
hated that system. That game's real time RTS
No.
thing was good though.
That game was interesting. It was just such a weird thing to all of a sudden have in the game.
Yeah, well,
Was you play the game, it's like, hey, it's an RTS now. You're like,
six hours into this, it's like, hey, you're doing this RTS battle thing now.
Yep.
Lead your troops in across the field, and you're like, okay. And then at about 10 hours in, wherever I'm up to, it's like, hey, now you've got this castle system. Build houses. Make sure people have jobs. Go do all the things. Like, okay. Can't wait to see what's introduced next. What's the next system coming to this game? With all that said, the RTS thing, although crappy, is easy. So
Yeah.
I'm not that bothered.
You just need
like-
to level up. I think it's
Yeah.
a bit of grinding and then you'd be fine.
You just like plow through enemies. So that's
the other
not
thing.
end
I
of
haven't
them.
had to grind at all. It's just like
Never have I. I don't think
easy.
you'll have to. Have you done? You would have done the first mystery door thing.
Yes, the danger
so that's-
door or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
Dangerous Door, whatever it's called. So that's another random gameplay thing it just chucks at you about 10 hours in. When you finally get introduced to side quests, the game is when you start building up your castle, it's like, hey, you can start doing side quests now for people. And by doing side quests, that's how you're going to be able to get people to come to your kingdom and like start working for you there and whatever else. And the first one you do, this person shows up that's like, hey, here's a key to these mystery doors, which I'd already found like 3, I think, by this point, but I didn't know what the hell they were. And you go in, it's like some persona, like what were they called? Persona, the the endless dungeon type weird. I don't know.
Castles.
It's like you go into this door. It's like here's a kind of randomized several level dungeon where there's a ticking clock up the top right hand corner, and as it reaches, once it reaches 12, it'll level up and the enemies will get stronger. You can collect
Orbs.
gems to like pay off people to bring the difficulty down as you're playing through, and then there's a boss at the end of it. And it's just like, okay, sure. Ni No Kuni 2 really is just like, here's a bunch of different gameplay ideas. And you know what? I'm enjoying them all. I'm having a great time with the game. I've
The
got
bosses
a bunch
are pretty.
of complaints.
The bosses look pretty cool.
I love all the designs and everything like that's cool. I'm still just like, take out the RTS thing and put all that into voice acting. You know, like it's hard not to be a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm having a great time with it. It also gave me the best collector's edition I think I've ever got. So that's
I'm kind of jealous now.
Oh, it's so good. I
don't even have a record player, and I'd still want those fun.
Yeah, it's so good. Just the pop up. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a little beautiful. And yeah, I think it's so a lot of the complaints outside the voice acting and stuff like that is like about the gameplay and stuff, but none of it's hard. So it's a very relaxing game to play.
Yeah.
I feel like you just sit back, you're fine. You just have a bowl.
I've been listening to podcasts while I like get between town to town.
Yeah, well, you can. It's like you don't really need to pay that much attention. Plus, there's no voice acting, so you can just read the fucking text.
It.
Got him. That was their thing the whole time.
And
Right.
you don't have to play the first one because there's like
No, you definitely don't have to play
there's
the
like
first one.
a couple of references. Like the first city was in the first game.
Ding
And
dong
then-
nail.
Ding Dong Dell, yeah. And then there's a puzzle.
That was the one with the cat,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Cool.
The cat and the mice. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they reference the first game in like a puzzle, but that's about it.
Yeah, and that's it so far that I've seen. Also, I doubt anything else matters. It's also set like 8 years and years and years and years.
It's like hundreds of years after, apparently.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's hundreds of years. So
Okay.
Also, the weirdest thing is they've got like a Facebook equivalent in the game.
that is, I forgot about that. What is the purpose of that? There's no purpose. I just open up the whole. So they're like, 5 hours in, they're like, here's another thing. This random merchant guy's like, here's this phone type
I
device.
assume there's some sort of secrets that you can get from
I
there.
fucking don't-
But it's like I think there was like a newspaper sort of thing, like explaining
Was
what's
it?
happening in the world in the first game or something.
But every time I open it, whenever there's new stuff, I'm like, cool. Yeah, that's a picture of the boss I just fought. Yeah, I beat him. Why do I want to read this? Why voice acting instead?
Yeah. And this game had the most bizarre opening of the most out of place opening.
And if they don't go back to that, I'm not going to spoil it because it is like so weird that's
Yeah.
the thing. I honestly feel like what we spoiled before isn't as big as a deal as the first 2 minutes of this game because it's so weird. If they don't go back to that to explain more, I'm just going to be like,
What?
Why? Like what? I keep thinking about it often. Every hour of my gameplay time so far, I thought about the first 2 minutes of this game and gone, that better be explained because that is so weird. If they never ever go back to it, it is the oddest opening.
He just never goes back. Yeah, that's it.
It's so weird. Got any wrapping up thoughts for Ni No Kuni?
No, I think we've covered just about everything about Ni No Kuni.
There you go.
I think we'll probably finish it in the next week.
Check back next week where one of them is 30 hours in and they go, by the way, it added like 4 more mechanics.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I'm having fun with it, so I'd suggest buying it. If you don't care about anything else at the moment.
I'm intrigued about the story. The story is intriguing, if nothing else.
Okay, yeah, to cover that up, I am intrigued by the story. I'm just not enjoying it as much as I think I could be, or as invested as much as I could be.
Yeah.
Also, the girl's my favorite character.
Is there somebody to love as much as, what was he, Drooly?
Nope.
Dribbly?
Mr. Drippy, the equivalent
Mr.
is not
Drippy?
as good.
No,
Okay.
the equivalent is not as good. He has a funny little accent, but he's not as
But
good.
there's no voice acting, so there's...
You hear
So
it
you only
sometimes.
hear it every
You hear
now
it
and then.
sometimes.
So you have to read his Scottish accent in text?
Oh,
which is
lad.
not as
Yeah,
fun.
whatever the fuck he says, man. My favorite character is the pirate girl, though, so far.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
She's pretty funny, because I'm pretty sure the first time she showed up, she yelled some random catchphrase at me. And I saved the video of it for reference later. Because everyone in this game has a catchphrase.
And they call people drongos in this game as well. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. I nearly thought the pirate was going to call someone a cunt, and then he said differently. It's true though. PG
yep.
show. All right, let's talk about the next game. One Ciaran has played. We started playing on Twitch on Saturday, A Way Out.
And then you had to
we
stop.
Then we had to stop, and then we started playing it again shortly afterwards when you finished downloading the game. That was great.
Whoops.
That was great
Whoops.
stream content.
I didn't.
Props
I
for
didn't,
them
I
letting
don't
you
know.
play the game before you download it.
Well, I downloaded. But the thing is, I don't even know what happened. I'm not even going into it. Whatever the freak happened there, PlayStation. I don't know. I'm so confused by it.
So A Way Out, in case you don't know, but I'm pretty sure most people should know, is a cooperative. It's only cooperative experience from the team that brought us Brothers, A Tale of Two, whatever that was.
Tale of Two Sons.
Brothers, whatever it
Sons,
was.
yeah.
Hazelight Studios. Most famous now for their lead dude, of course,
Joseph
Useless.
Ferris
Joseph Ferris wearing fuck off at the
at the Game Awards.
Yeah. And he's also since then, of course, put out a video you may have seen circulating around Twitter, which is great, where he holds up 2 copies of the game. It's like, this is how you play co-op with my game. Here's 2 copies of the game. Fuck this copy. You only need 1.
Unless you want the trophies for the game.
Unless you want trophies, at which point you do need to buy it twice. But,
Who cares about trophies? Am I right?
me and Ciaran both brought it.
Fair
yeah,
enough.
we did.
No, we both brought it, so we get
Yeah.
trophies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and support the developer, because we already knew it was a really great game.
That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to support the guys. So
Yeah. It is a game where you start in prison and you need to find a way out, and you then escape the prison, and then stuff after that happens, and that's a lot of things. It's apparently 6 to 8 hours. I think we might have just hit halfway. I feel like the runtime is highly dependent on how much fucking around you're doing, of which we was doing a lot. So I feel like our runtime is going to be quite a lot longer.
Yeah.
There's a lot to fuck around with. There's a lot of fun to be had, though. I would say my first feeling about this game, a couple hours in, was, is this where Telltale games could go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it honestly feels like a kind of upgrade, variation, switch of that kind of formula, but just in a cooperative experience.
Yeah. No, I understand that. And that's very much... it's interesting that with it also builds on that system of, like the Renegade and Paragon system from Mass Effect a bit, but instead of the 2 characters have 2 very different ways of dealing with things. Like Vincent seems to be very charming and smooth for his actions, whereas Leo, the other character, is very much rough him up and not subtle at all with the things he does. So it's
So who did
interesting
you
to
each
have.
play?
We picked the perfect characters for each other to play. It worked out perfectly, and we found this out several hours in, where I would say something, my character would then say it, and I'd be complaining about Ciaran doing something, and then my character would complain about Kieran's character doing the exact same thing that I was complaining about. It was perfect. It was perfect picking.
I don't know what Dylan had to complain about. I tried to leave Dylan a number of times.
Yeah.
Like there were a number of times I was like, all right, this is where my character makes a break for it and does it on his own.
The moment of co-op hell was nearly trying to climb up a air shaft thing where, so you're back to back climbing up this air shaft, and you have to take in turns. There's a little bar that comes down, the little floating thing, and you've got to click X at the right time when it lands in the area. And I would get it every time, first time, and my character would move his legs up the side, and then I can't see Kieran's bar moving on his screen, but all I would hear was fuck, 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 fuck. And then somehow he stuffed it up so much, and then the time he could get it right, like 2-3 times in a row, he just charged so far ahead of me, he nearly fucked us all up.
Sounds
He's
good.
like, I can do it now. Let me just go ahead of you, Dylan.
Let's just motor on. Let's just plow through. I enjoyed there's a lot of different things going on in this game. Sometimes, and I read something, and I understand, there's some people say it's like a collection of a whole bunch of different mini games.
Yeah, but you don't
put
have to
together.
play them.
You don't have to play them. The
They're
fish in the pond was far out. That took
That was terrible.
a very long time.
I need a
But
dynamite.
I'm enjoying the game. There's a lot of things where it was a really nice bonding experience for Dylan and me, especially there was stuff like during the actual escape of the prison. All of a sudden was like, "Hey, this is Uncharted 4," and Dylan's like, "Holy shit, that was exactly what I was thinking at the time." And there was a lot of cool little moments like that. The trophies are really interesting, except I think you might have bugged a trophy, Dylan.
Nah.
I think you bugged a trophy.
Don't
So I think
I'd do that.
you should have got a trophy, but you didn't get it.
Oh.
That I
Well,
was
that's not my
reading about.
fault. That's Haze-like Studios' problem when I
Yeah.
sue them.
But they are really good because there is a pretty good chapter select to do these things. So if you want to go back and grab trophies with a friend,
It's also it makes such good use of the cooperative experience. This doesn't feel like a game that, like most co-op games that I've enjoyed my time with over the years. I think of Resident Evil 5, which everyone hates on, but I played through all of that game in co-op, and it was a lot of fun to play in co-op. I think I mentioned on stream Army of Two, because that is another game I played in co-op and was actually a lot of fun in co-op. All these games are just co-op experiences that are single player experiences that you could just be doing alone.
yes,
You don't play a way out and feel like at any point it's a single player experience that you just happen to be playing co-op. It is a co-op game. There's no if but about it. And you have to communicate with the person you're playing with. You have to be able to work stuff out. And then there was the other thing is whenever decisions come up, so the two characters will be like, should we do this or should we do this? There's no like, you both have to talk about it and click on the same decision. Like if you're going to argue about a decision making process, you can't, one person can't click this option, and the game will just like 50-50 pick one for you. It's like you can't
have
move
to
on
commit.
until you talk about it and both decide to click on the same decision. So the co-op mechanics are built integrally, I feel like, into the
and I like the
mechanics.
things that there's not like it's not two characters that are doing the exact same story. Each character very much has their own story, and it gives you, the player, the chance to explore each character's story, because with minor details like the audio. So if I'm talking to somebody and Dylan talks to somebody at the same time, my audio will be louder for me than his, but I'll still be able to hear his conversation and I know what's going on. But the same thing happens for Dylan. His audio's louder than mine, but he can still hear mine.
Yeah.
So that lets you focus on your stuff. And even like when your character's having a particular moment where, you know, Leo is having
No
a moment. No spoilers. I'm not saying anything further. When Leo's having a moment, it isn't like the other character is just kind of in limbo. He's got his own thing to do during that time. So
Yeah, it's really great. Like the last scene we played where you was having your moment, and you're up there doing that conversation, and I'm just fucking around. Like I'm just
Yeah,
over here, like
you're
I'm just fucking around.
and you can see you fucking around in the background of stuff. Like you can just see you run past, and even the stuff we were getting competitive about stuff that we didn't need to get competitive about
Yeah, they get
in
you.
games, and you just apparently were better at all of them than me. But
Sounds about right.
there's a lot of, you know, random mini contests and games and stuff where you have where it like sets a score, a high
It's
score,
like
and then darts or horseshoes and stuff.
horseshoe throwing, and whatever else.
And there's a lot of little moments that could be easily missed that
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
pretty
the game
fantastic.
play time. If you think about that sequence where there's where the horseshoe was, that whole area, it's like you can just run to where you need to go. But we spent probably half an hour fucking around.
Yeah.
Or more.
Even doing stuff that was just not
necessary at all.
appropriate.
They didn't even
There
give us
was-
trophies, but
No, we didn't even get trophies for some of it. We were just messing around, and
but it's fun. It's fun.
I like it. It's a great
I'm interested to see how hard the cooperative experience gets, because it's been amping up so far. Like the crawling up the hatch thing back to back, that was kind of the first like, oh, we have to be cooperating here moment. And then we got to a part later that was in water, which was a nightmare, and that was nearly the end of it.
I don't see any problems with that section.
That was a nightmare.
We were fine.
That was the first time I was like just yelling at Ciaran, like, "What are you doing?" So I am intrigued to see by the end of the game what the last heavy cooperative experience or sequence will be, because I feel like it has to get harder, I suppose, as the game continues.
It does indeed.
It's a great game though. I'm enjoying it a lot. Ash, do you have any interest in playing this?
Yeah. I think maybe I'll just watch your stream. I feel like I'll get...
Oh, just ruin it.
As long as you don't complain about watching something of a game the entire time, like Dylan complains about Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
As long as you don't do that, I'm fine. I pretty much watched all that game anyway.
I did.
What's the point of playing it?
It's true. I didn't feel like
Trophies.
playing it. Yeah, no, but I couldn't be bothered.
Oh,
playing
yeah,
it
that's true. It's
anyway.
Uncharted.
Yeah, Uncharted's aren't that fun to platinum. I don't feel like, sorry, Naughty Dog, your trophy lists aren't great.
I mean,
For a
you can't be
PlayStation
perfect at
first-party
everything.
Developer,
Pretty bad.
you should get better at them. Way Out's a lot of fun though, and highly suggested. The other thing that's we haven't really pointed out yet that is interesting, because when they announced it, it was weird. They're like, oh, it's a co-op experience. And then for a while, even I was like, oh, so it's only split screen? That's shit, because I was really intrigued in playing this. And then I was like, oh, no, you can play it online. Okay, good, I can play it online. But the thing is, even when you're playing online, your screen
It's
is still
still-
split
yeah.
screen.
You're
Because
still seeing the other
Is that
person.
annoying
still-
or...
no, because it's so part of the gameplay where it'll move the screen smaller. Like we were saying before, there's moments where a character might be having a very big character moment, and it doesn't want you fucking around in the background. It wants you to pay attention. So it'll kind of move the screen like all the way to the left or all the way to the right, so that person's screen is full screen, and then both players are just paying attention watching that sequence. There'll be other times when something a bit more important will be happen, and it'll make that person's screen like 3/4 of the screen, and vice versa. Like it's not just here. 50% of your screen is now gone. You're not now sharing like your usual split screen experiences. Everything from the way the audio fades in and out to the way the screen moves left to right, depending on where it needs to be. The game is designed so well around it being a split screen experience that no, I don't feel like, oh, because we're playing online, we should have full screen each. No, part of the experience is being able to see
that it is a split screen.
your partner.
And it's quite funny that they use that full screen kind of unironically sometimes, where say if my character's doing something and I need the other person to do it as well, like to do something to help me, my character will be like, oh,
Yeah.
I wish he could do this. And he, like, of course the other person hears it and does it because he said something, but
Realistically, I wouldn't
Real-
be able to hear or know what you want me to do. There's this, not a huge spoiler, within the first, like while you're in the prison at the start of the game, there's a sequence where you kind of helping, I was helping Ciaran's character sneak something out of like a hospital, whatever you want to call it, like a doctor's
medical bay.
medical
Like a
bay.
medical-
And there's a part where he's behind a glass window and my character can't see it while he's still laying in bed, and I'm supposed to be keeping an eye out. But the prompt is to press X to knock on the window to sidetrack the person in that room. How would my character know to do that? He wouldn't know how to do that. How do
He
I know how
wouldn't,
to do that? Because I'm playing the game and I can see and hear him be like, I need you to knock the window for that guy. But there's no way realistically my character would know that. And that was, so there have been a few wall breaking
There's been a few of
moments.
those where you're like, okay.
Yeah, but you let it pass because it's fun, and the
How's-
story so far has been enjoyable.
Yeah, the story's good.
Story's good.
It's odd.
Also, key factor from this podcast, completely voice acted.
Ooh, that's a
Everyone,
plus.
even the NPCs you
Everybody.
talk to, they talk.
Even
to you.
NPCs, they're all voice acted.
all of them. It's great.
It's so great. You start, all about the sheets. There is only one thing, and I don't know if Dylan ever went back and saw it. We had a point where Dylan was sneaking away from a guard, and the guard quite clearly turned around and walked and looked the other way. As Dylan stepped out, the guard literally teleported to face him. And Dylan was like, what? What? Dylan didn't see the teleport. I did. I was like...
You know why? It's because after that we realized I wasn't even supposed to be going up there. So when I started walking up there, the game was just like, zoom, makes like a guy like teleport back there. So weird. How odd. Anyway, having a great time with A Way Out. I would highly suggest playing it if you've got a friend. If you have no friends, you can hire one. Or
Has anybody tried to play it by themselves yet?
you couldn't. There's no way. It is too...
It's really hard. It would be...
yeah.
Somebody will. Like, some crazy fucking person will learn how to play it with a Guitar Hero controller, but, you know.
I'm sure there's parts where you could just
One
do
controller on your feet, one with your hand.
Just the normal stuff where you're walking around would be fine. It's when you get into the intense...
Oh, into the intense section where one character's doing something and the other character is looking out for them.
Yeah,
and
stuff like that.
there's just a lot of like that was probably one of my favorite co-op moments where one character's acting out as the lookout and there's a lot of panic because you can see the other person's screen and stuff.
It was funny. It's funny. We will be streaming, I presume, the rest of it, unless it's way longer than we think, tomorrow night, Tuesday night.
Well, tonight when you
Tonight.
Oh, yeah, no,
download
no,
this
yeah,
podcast.
today. You're
Today.
right. Time.
A couple hours time.
What is time?
Like-
At 7 p.m., we will be streaming it, roughly. After early late nights, we will be streaming it on twitch.tv/Explosion Network. Or bit.ly. No, that's too complicated. Just to twitch.tv/Explosion Network. The bit link is helpful in Twitter, not so much in
Verbally.
voice. Verbally, yeah. So is anyone interested in picking up Far Cry 5 this week?
I will be.
You will be? Are you actually
I will
interested in it, or are you just going to pick it up because...
I'll be picking up for my Xbox stuff, but yeah, I'll be picking it because it's my turn to buy the game.
Okay, yes.
For
I
game
see.
sharing. But I'll end up having it. I'll look at it for an hour or so. I'll probably, I don't know.
I'm going to say I give
It's-
zero fucks, really, to be honest.
It's just, my big thing is, I just want there to be a news story. I want there to be some stupid American person to complain about that game. Being like, this, you know, with all like the current climate of the guns and the game being set in America and it's quite targeting of religious groups in many ways of like that extremist religious group that America tends to deny the fact that they have. There's going to be somebody that's going to be outraged by this game.
Yeah,
There's got to be.
I'm pretty sure people already are. Just haven't had a very loud group yet.
No.
No.
Are you interested in picking this game up at all, Ash?
Nope.
Yeah, no.
I
Any
played it
reason
at
particular?
PAX. I had enough. I died
Was
enough
that it?
times.
Yeah, I
Is
died a lot in that.
Is it the
in
same
that-
as me where I'm just like, it's more Far Cry and it just looks like mediocre. I feel like as the years pass, games like this do less and less for me,
Yep.
which is weird, but
For
don't
me,
know.
the setting makes a lot because the similar, like, the Ubisoft format, I really like in games like Assassin's Creed. I don't enjoy it in Far Cry's. And I think that a lot of that is the setting and the type of game it is.
did you play 4?
Far Cry 4, I
Yeah.
played a bit of it.
I played a couple hours and got bored. So,
I played it the first time I played it. I wanted to be like, ha ha ha! I finished the game and did the
yeah, the stupid thing. Yeah.
the stupid thing, and then I think I only literally put maybe a couple more missions in after when I restarted it.
Have you played any of the Far Cry's, Ash?
Nope.
None of them
I
interest
played
you?
more of Primal than I played of Far Cry 4.
Because the best Far Cry is Far Cry 2. That was the only good one. Far Cry 3 is alright.
Far Cry 1 was really good.
Nah.
Yeah, in your Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. Far Cry 3, which everyone loves. Like I enjoyed it as for the bad guy, but slight spoilers. Well, spoilers for Far Cry 3. That bad guy that everyone loves, whatever his name is, that's on the front cover, he isn't
Vaughn.
the main bad guy.
Vas.
Yeah, Vas. He isn't the main bad guy, and he
No.
isn't in the game as much as he should be.
He dies
and then
like
when
halfway through, and you're like, "What?"
Yeah, it's fucking vibes out this week.
Been out long enough.
Yeah,
it's
fair
Far Cry
enough.
5.
He dies like halfway through, and after that point, I lost all interest in the story or anything that was happening. And the only interesting factor in that whole game was that character, because he was portrayed really, really well by a really good actor, and he was just so weird and actually villain-esque, and not your typical kind of bad guy. He was kind of proper psycho, which was a lot of fun.
Could have been super awesome in that game is if he had still died in that section, but he became like Joker
ghost.
in Arkham Knight, Like he
Spoilers.
became like a figment of your like psychosis, because that game's all about the main character going through this like metamorphosis into this psycho. That could have been a really awesome thing. Where no, this guy is just a
But then
manifestation.
a couple hours into Far Cry 4, I was like, I don't give any shits about the villain. I don't give any shits about any of the main characters I've met. I don't care about my character. What am I doing? I got to a certain point where I got drugged or something like that, and I was just like, I'm so bored. So bored. Like, I'm shooting things, I'm whatever. I'm so bored. And when Far Cry 5 got announced, I was like, I was on board for a hot minute. You know, I was like, cool, setting, interesting. Go for the crazy religious groups. I'm intrigued. Show me some more interesting... Introduce me more to them, make the gameplay, change the gameplay enough. And then when they showed the gameplay, I was just like, okay, it's just more Far Cry. In fact, it's more Far Cry and more outrageous. It's just more ridiculous, which is the opposite I'd like it to go.
It is in America.
Yeah, but the gameplay is just like flying around. Blah, blah, blah. My favorite Far Cry 2, was really they really tried to be
gritty.
really realistic and gritty, and like it was actually really hard. You would constantly be pulling bullets out of your arm. You would accidentally light a whole fucking farm on fire around yourself and just die because that game had such great fire mechanics and great. Far Cry 2. I want more Far Cry 2. I know that's not what everyone wants, obviously, because we got Far Cry 5, and it's more... Far Cry 5 is more like Far Cry 3.
And the
which is
remake
more like
they've
4,
done is
which
Far
more
Cry 3.
5. So... But I want more Far Cry 2.
Even with like, was it you were telling me on Saturday that the dog can't die?
Yeah, apparently if the dog gets shot enough, it'll just like pass out, and then you can go up to it and press a button to pat it, and it'll revive it. And it's like, oh, that's cute. You pat him, he comes back to life.
Bloody Peter.
Bloody Peter.
But all in all, I'd say, yeah, I'm not going to pick up Far Cry anytime soon, and unless it pops up in PS Plus or something like that, I doubt I will be playing it at all. So that's that story. The last news story to quickly go over, because we did talk about it several times on the podcast when it was all happening, is that Battlefront 2 now has implemented / is implementing its brand new updated system for the star cards and such. And a lot of people online, I'm in the camp that's kind of like, look, yeah, it's like, it was shit. They went away. It's back now. There's no point still complaining about it. But then there's the other camp of people still online that are just still complaining. Like, oh, it's too little, too late, too little, too late, too little, too late. Which, has everyone read the changes they've made?
No.
Or at least like briefly heard about the changes they've made?
Nope. EA tried to email me about it, and I was like, no, I'm good, thanks.
So basically what they've done, briefly, the short version is star cards and all that sort of stuff, which used to be able to spend real money on to buy loot chests, and then you'd get better star cards out of, which then would make your character better. So it was kind of like pay to win. You could spend money to make your character better quicker, and you could be like level 1, spend $200 and have this really great character. Star cards and anything that will now affect actual gameplay is only going to be unlocked via gameplay progression via levels and such. The thing that is being added next month that you can spend real money on, which is the thing I remember saying on this podcast that they should do, is real money is now just going to be spent on skins and different character customizations and all that sort of stuff that every other company does, because that is the only right way to do it. Is the only way where you don't fuck over the players, and is the right way to do it.
Is it too little, too late?
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how many people are still playing.
I don't see the.
There's a huge audience of hardcore Star Wars fans and Battlefront players, and there have been since Battlefront 1. I follow a heap of Battlefront YouTubers online who all they do is play this game. Every time there's a new patch, they're doing videos over the changes it makes to guns, to characters, like hardcore type stuff. So there is a fan base for this that it would never fail. Like, this game would never fail. It's never going to die off and never have no one playing it.
Yeah.
Which is the important factor, I suppose. I feel like most people who are screaming too little, too late probably weren't going to buy the game anyway. It was never interested enough, or I suppose. And honestly, if someone came up to me today and they're like, look, I didn't like Battlefront 1. It didn't have a story mode. I'm interested in Battlefront 2 because it has a story mode, but I didn't like what they did with multiplayer. Should I buy it? I'd be like, No, because the story mode's crap, and you didn't really enjoy the multiplayer in the first game, so this game still isn't for you. That's the
Is the
that's
story
end of
mode crap?
It was
I
crap.
don't know.
It was crap. But
Is it crap?
in my opinion, Kieran, it was crap.
It wasn't. I think you see it as more crap because of how much you love Star Wars. So.
No, I see it as a game, and as a game, it was crap.
Okay, fair.
Just solely as a game, it was crap. As a Star Wars story, it was garbage. There you go. There you go. That's how I feel about that. That's how I feel about that. I feel like they obviously fucked up, and they're going to pay a lot, and the too little too late is works to a point where it's you messed up, but they've come around now, and there's so many people that work there that I actually like. It's easy to hate on EA, but then I know there's people like Mitch Dyer and stuff that work there and have been working on this stuff, and I'm like, oh, he's a good dude. So it's hard for me to fully turn proper rage. Oh, EA's the worst. Like, don't burn them to the ground, because it's like, yeah, EA, but the people at DICE and stuff, I like some of those people. I follow a bunch of people that work at DICE.
I enjoy the amount of people that are using a way out as like a save EA card. Like,
well, it's not
remember
EA's,
this game's EA. Remember, this game's EA. EA's giving you a free game if you buy one. They're giving you a second copy.
Well, they're not, because EA gave Hayes like full control, funded it out of goodwill basically for themselves, which is working. They're making $0 off it, which is worth pointing out actually, because there are so many people who will refuse to buy EA games because they don't want to put money in EA's pocket, which is, more power to you as the gamer. I suppose you can do what you want. If you're not buying a way out for that reason, you can. EA is taking zero of the profits. It is all going to Hazelight. They're publishing it for free, just out of goodwill or something. I don't know. If it is solely for goodwill and it's just to garner them good feedback and not be voted the worst company for however many years straight, I feel like it'll work, especially with this Battlefront stuff happening the same week, which everyone's still in an uproar about. It's so weird when companies fix stuff. Even with No Man's Skies comes out 6 months later, they add all this stuff that people wanted day one. It's just like, yeah, nah, it's
too late.
It's
too little, too late. Sorry,
it's too late. It's fucked. It is fucked. And the people still shit on that guy. Like, No Man's Sky was too little, too late for me, but I wasn't going to get on Twitter and rage about it. It's unnecessary. It's too little, too late for me. But I'm just not going to yell at Sean Murray.
Go about your life.
Yeah, I'm going to go about my life. I don't feel like I need to get on Twitter and yell at Sean Murray. No, fuck you and your game.
What's the point of them yelling at people after they attempt to fix it? Yeah, it's too little, too late. Yeah, they've let you down as a consumer, but at least they're trying to do something about it. They're trying to, I understand people being angry about it. That's cool, but there's no point when they release a way of fixing it.
I feel like they've fixed it early enough, because what we've got to also remember is they've fixed it before we've even got our first proper DLC for Battlefront. Like, they haven't even dropped their first expansion yet. They've dropped the Last Jedi DLC, which doesn't really count. That's like the first Battlefront, they dropped a Jakku map, and then after that, they did the first proper DLC.
That game, the Last Jedi stuff, it just seemed like they time gated that because of the movie.
Yeah, they did. That's what I'm saying.
That was
free,
normal content.
So you can't complain. It was time gated, free content that made sense, because you're not going to put that out before the movie. I have no issue with that. But at the same time, I obviously don't count that as a proper DLC. They haven't put out the first expansion yet. They've now fixed... they've fixed the problems I had with the system, and they've fixed it before we get our first expansion. If they had put out 1 or 2 expansions before fixing this, it would have been like, why didn't you postpone the expansions in the DLC and fix the fucking game first? So I feel like they've done the right thing. They fixed the core mechanics before putting more effort into the expansions and stuff. And I'm excited to play more Battlefront when they drop more DLC and stuff. So I'm fine. I don't hate them. They fucked up, but I don't hate them for it.
Would you be excited if they brought like a Star Wars Rebels DLC for it?
Yes, I would be very excited. I need that Ahsoka in there.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
No, but she's dead, isn't she?
What?
She's dead, right?
Is Ahsoka dead?
Yeah.
Don't know. I won't tell you on this show because it's spoilers. Hashtag every trophy counts. Ni No Kuni 2 trophies all look easy, time consumable, all simply look like things you'd get by doing everything in the game, and that's it. Like,
The one that I wouldn't want to do is satisfying every single higgledy stone.
Yeah, but there'll be a map.
Hopefully.
Someone will make a map where they
better.
all are. That'll happen. Someone will make a map. They'll be like, here's where they
somebody
all are
not
located.
in game is what you're saying.
Yeah,
No,
somebody
no.
not in
Yeah.
game. I mean, someone
Somebody.
will eventually put a map online. Here's where they all are, and you'll just go around and give them all what they want. So
Yep.
it's not really an issue. It's the same as the portals, the secret doors or whatever. They're all in secret locations.
Yeah.
So someone will put those all up. And the rest is just like kill X amount of monsters, pass X amount of side quests, blah, 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 blah. Beat chapter 1 through X. All seems
Yeah.
easily
Seems
obtainable.
achievable.
Seems doable. A way out's trophies are, from what was gathered so far, all miscellaneous. I'll assume one of them's for completing the game.
Miscellaneous.
What did I say?
Miscellaneous.
Yeah, I love her.
Miscellaneous.
Miscongeniality. And her sister. Miscellaneous. I'm going to presume one of the trophies is for beating the game, but so far all of them have just been random stuff.
Some of them have been like the most random trophies.
But what makes me feel like it'll be an easy platinum is if they all are just random stuff you have to do in certain levels, the game does have chapter select. So when someone figures out what they all are, it'll simply be a matter of going back through the chapters that you need to and completing the random tasks that you need to. And if that is the case of all the trophies, which it does seem like, I'm going to say it's a easy, like 1 out of 10.
It's a very easy
platinum. Very easy platinum.
I was reading through the trophy guide before the show, and it's very, very doable.
Someone put up a trophy guide already.
Yeah, there's a trophy guide with cutouts of where it is, and it's if you've got to a certain point in the story and you want to go back and do stuff, they're cut out into which chapter which trophy's in and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
So you can avoid spoilers for the later stuff and just go through the chapters you've done.
We'll just do it after we finish it off stream.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll just go through and grab an easy platinum each. But it definitely feels like a 1 out of 10. Nothing.
And also, if the good thing I liked about the trophy was if there was a trophy that was character related, so there was one trophy that only one of the characters can get, both of us still got it.
Okay, cool. As long as you both buy the game.
Yeah, as long as you both have the game, you both still got it, even though only one of you did the thing for the trophy.
I looked at Far Cry 5's trophy list before. That was the only one really notable I felt like popping this week. Bunch of trophies that have in brackets solo campaign only, which I found interesting. So if you're planning on playing
Solo
through
campaign only.
Yeah, so if you're planning on playing through the game in its entirety in co-op, you're going to find yourself missing a whole bunch of trophies.
Because of the stupid co-op system in Far Cry that doesn't save your game progress if you're in somebody else's game.
Oh, really? Is that what it was like for?
Yeah, so if you're in somebody else's game and they do a mission you're up to, it doesn't count for you.
That's great.
It just counts for them, and that's why one of my biggest. I was like, I don't want to. No, I'm good.
Okay,
No,
we'll play a good
that's a
co-op
shit
game,
co-op.
like a way out.
Oh wait, yeah,
That's the way to go. I did get 2 platinums last week, 2 shitty ones.
Ooh.
I did the platinum for Mr. Masagi, which takes 15 minutes to 30 minutes. It is a dating sim.
Did you just follow a guide for it?
No. I feel like
No?
it'll make it easier, but you would just get it normally by fucking around. The guide will just it'll just make it a lot easier. You go on dates, you click the right options, you get the trophies, and then every time you do a successful date, your controller starts vibrating heavily, and it tells you to put it behind your neck so Mr. Masagi can give you a massage. This is a game by the same people that made Mr. Mayo.
Did you try the massage?
I did, and the PlayStation controller is not a very good massage device at all. I was highly let down. I thought they'd hack the controller to make it massage better.
Is it a different massage for each one you get or something?
No, not that I remember, no. Spoilers for the game if you care. At some stage, you go on a date with the mayo jar from My Name is Mayo. They've got cross promotion. And the other game I played is called The World of Nubla or Nubla. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Where there is 2 different versions of the game, and I believe they're exactly the same. So I will do the other one. It is a simple side-scrolling puzzle game. I think it took me like an hour, probably less. I just followed a guide for it. I don't know what. It was on sale at some point within the last month, and I picked it up for a couple bucks, and I finally decided to play through both these while I was listening to Tales of Felden to do last minute edits on a couple of the episodes. So I was just doing this in the background while listening, or else I'm just staring at a screen until I need to stop the episode. But these 2 games were great platinums to pick up while doing some...
While listening to podcasts, people.
Yeah,
So
got to be multitasking at all
out-
times, I'm multitasking.
If you want to check out any of our other podcasts and you want something to do while you're listening, there's a couple of games for you.
Yeah, listen to Tales of Felden while you play and platinum those 2 games, and you'll feel like you're basically connecting with me, because it's what I do while editing it.
And Dylan, you're going to get another platinum this week.
Yeah, we should get a way out platinum.
No, we should get 2 platinums this week.
What'll be lovely? Oh, Batman!
Batman!
Yes! We're all getting platinum, boys. Get excited. That's exciting. Yeah, on that, so Batman is out tomorrow or Wednesday. Is it out tomorrow or Wednesday?
Tomorrow, 27th.
Yeah, so it's out today when you're listening to this. We will be doing a review discussion of the entire Batman Season 2 season on Friday?
Yeah,
at
it'll be
about
Friday night.
7
Sure.
p.m., I guess. Check our socials.
With spoil, we'll do the first X amount of time before it will be non-spoilers, and then we'll jump into spoilers.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that game live. And I will also write a review. So check all that out.
He
ExplosionNetwork.com.
does that.
Anyway, wrapping up the show. Thank you all for joining us. This has been a good episode. Talk about 2 good games.
Yeah.
And then we shat on Far Cry for a bit and then kind of shat on Star Wars. But we kind of even it out. It was exciting. I feel like we
It
shat
felt
on
like
Ni No
we
Kuni
shat
a
on
bit,
Ni No
but
Kuni too, but
I
it's
feel like
a
it was
good
just
game.
being
It did for a while.
constructive criticism. And I feel like we're shitting on it. I feel like we're just offering up constructive criticism. I'm enjoying
like
the game
to,
a lot.
I'd like to take the time as well to thank our special guest host, Dylan Blight. It's been a pleasure having you back on the show, Dylan. We're excited to have you next time you're on the show or you feel like turning up.
Where can people follow you, Ciaran?
People can follow me at your boy Ringo on Twitters or, twitch.tv, Explosion Network. That's where we are.
Ash, where can people follow you?
Follow me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. It's a thing.
What is this week's What Do You Want to Watch About?
We're going to watch Speed Racer.
Speed Racer.
Can I ask, how did this happen?
I don't want to know. I want to ask him on the podcast. We haven't recorded the episode yet. So I want to hear more about
I want
his-
to know why. It's just
Well, you have
when
to
I
listen to
saw
the
the
episode.
tweet about
Friday,
it, I was so
Friday
confused.
at 12 p.m. You can hear.
Okay, I'll listen to it.
Got him. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, VIVALADIL. And of course, you can follow this podcast in particular on Twitter at Platt Podcast. You can also then follow the Explosion Network on Twitter at Explosion Pod, and then go to explosionnetwork.com for all the other shows that we have mentioned and such delightful things. And if you have a spare moment of your day, it would be really appreciate if you go to iTunes, review all of them. What do you want to watch? Tales of Felden, Platinum Explosion, and other ones. They're just the ones we kind of mentioned this episode. We mentioned Early Late Nights as well, actually. So you go review that as well.
When episodes come out. Yeah.
Yeah, when they come out. Sometimes they come out. Sometimes Ciaran just likes to listen to music and he forgets he's doing a show. He's like, I might turn my tunes off. Plat. And until next week, may all your trophies be gold. Explosion, all right. Year 2 is here, everyone. And I have lots of news for you. We've announced 4 new shows and a renewal amongst a couple other things. Listen along. Tales of Felden is our D&D cross-audio drama podcast. It's highly edited to allow non-D&D fans to experience an audio drama including music and sound effects that just so happens to be acted out and made up along the way, because it's D&D. Less dice and more drama. Kinda. Season 1 kicks off March 24th, but the prologue is available now, and short stories about each character will be posting between now and the launch. Follow at Tales of Felden on Twitter for more. What Do You Want to Watch is our media podcast being released fortnightly. We'll be talking movies, TV, and more each fortnight, and check out a movie in What Do We Watch Anyway, our movie book club that you can watch along with. Follow at Explosion Pod to keep up to date with that. Top 5 with Nick kicks off Wednesday the 7th as a fortnightly podcast with Nicholas Pryor being joined by 2 guests to count down or up. Nick's rules really aren't solid. Their personal top 5s for this season's theme, video games, ranging from top 5 game vehicles to top 5 launch games. Check it out. Every Tuesday and Friday night from 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, you'll catch Ciaran on twitch.tv/Explosion Network hosting Early Late Nights, a gaming news half-hourly breakdown show. The episodes will then go up live on podcast services and YouTube just 24 hours after airing. So make sure you're following our Twitch channel. That's right, twitch.tv/Explosion Network to keep up to date. All Around Explosion is back for Season 2 on May the 11th, with 3 more episodes to count down to solo a Star Wars story, and then talk about the movie itself. So if you're doing a Star Wars rerun before then, don't forget the first season is already available, and a good thing to listen to if you're doing a rewatch. And some updates and some changes. Tom is now going to be the full-time host of Pleasure Explosion as the podcast moves to a maximum cast of 4 members and moves focus away from being topic-based. All our YouTube shows, like South the King's Landing, Reacts, and Review Discussions, will now be live on Twitch. They'll go up on YouTube's afterwards, but we want you there watching live. We want to reward our Twitch audience that has supported us so well this past year, so get ready for a full spectrum of Twitch content and better bang for your time and money. It's a lot, I know. You can find all of this wrapped up in an article right now on explosionnetwork.com, breaking down all this and more. But most importantly, the news is Explosion Network Year 2 is here, and thank you for being a part of it.
You hear the noise Ashley made?
No? Why?
He
What
was
noise
like,
did it make?
he was like, like I don't know.
I don't know.